The Hole Wizard provides a quick way to generate a variety of standard size holes for screws, tapped holes, counterbores, and the ability to change easily from one style to the other. The best way to use the Hole Wizard is to pre-select a plane that you would like to place the holes on. In this case here, I'm going to choose the top of the part. Now under the Features tab, we have the Hole Wizard. Just go ahead and click on that and it should launch the tool. Starting from the top here, we have our hole specification. Down here, we can choose what type of hole we'd like to use. I can use counterbored, countersunk, just regular straight holes. I can use tapped holes, pipe tapped holes. I can define my own legacy type of hole, or I even have the ability now to use counterbored slots or countersunk slots or just a regular slot. So some lot of nice tools available to us now within the Hole Wizard. Directly below that is our standard we're going to be using. We have ANSI inch and we have all these other standards you can be choosing from. So the most common are going to be inch or metric, and you can choose from those any of the styles of holes you'd like to use in any of those categories, like a counterbored, countersunk, or hole, or any of these other types. I'm going to choose ANSI inch, and then I can choose what style of hole. So for this case here, I can say I'd like a socket head cap screw, or I can use any of these others, starting with hex bolts or hex screws, panhead screws, all the way down. So take a look through the list. You have a lot of variety there to put it in. Also, below that, I have the size. I can choose any of the standard sizes for that style of screw. Notice as I scroll through them, you can see those are all available. If I were to switch to a different style of hole, maybe up here if I chose a tapped hole, notice all these categories change as well. So I have a bottom tapped hole, or a straight hole, or just a regular tapped hole, and then I can choose the size of that tapped hole. So all these categories will change based upon what you choose in your original selection here at the top. I'm going to switch back to the counterbored hole, socket head cap screw. We're going to choose a 3/8, and my fit's going to be normal, but you could change it to close or loose, or you can even modify it outside of that by choosing custom sizing and then type in those values. These values here come from a table of your standard sizes for that type of screw, and of course you can override them, but generally they're pretty good. End condition can be up to next, blind through all, or any of these other choices here, but generally up to next works great because it will end that feature all the way through the part without having to type in an exact number. You can also add a few other options like head clearance, near side countersink, underhead clearance, and far side countersink. When you're ready to go ahead and actually place the hole, click on the next tab over called Positions, and then I can choose to place that hole on my sheet. Notice as soon as I click, it places that hole. Anywhere I click now, it's going to automatically place the hole. What's really happening behind the scene here is I have the point command turned on. So anywhere you see a point, or anywhere SOLIDWORKS sees a point within SOLIDWORKS, it's going to put that same hole. Now if I want to turn off placing holes, go up here and turn off the point command, or hit escape. Notice if I spin this around, these are just points. I can grab the point, I can move it around anywhere on the screen, or anywhere on that face. In fact, I can even move it off of that face, although that's really not going to help us out, but it is possible to do that. It'll probably give you an error, but anywhere on that face, you can place those holes, and that's where it's going to be putting those holes. We're going to go over laying these holes out in the next couple of videos. But at this point here, I just want to go through the main steps for using the Hole Wizard and getting the holes into the part. When you're happy with what you have, go ahead and click OK, and you can see it places those counterbored holes into the part. They go all the way through, and they're easy to move around. Now the great thing about using the Hole Wizard is later on in your design, if you say, hey, I didn't want that size hole, I want these to be tapped holes, don't worry. Go back to the feature, click on Edit Feature, and switch over to a tapped hole. Come over here, choose the size tapped hole. So in this case here, I'm going to go all the way down to that 3/16, click OK, and they automatically update just that quickly. The locations stay the same, and the holes automatically change. And if you zoom in, you can see the hole has a little dotted line showing that it's a tapped hole. And by the way, when we go make drawings of these parts later, all that data we put in the Hole Wizard will automatically propagate through to the drawing showing the size, depth, and type of hole. The Hole Wizard is based on points. Because the location of a hole is defined by point, to add another hole, all we need to do is just add another point to the sketch. To change holes, go ahead and select a different style of hole, and all those holes will automatically update.